And so it is the embodying wisdom through the breath, through the body, is an essential part of practice throughout our lives, but especially during Sesshin. People keep sliding into struggle. I'm going to struggle and fight. And of course, that's something we have to do sometimes in order to understand its nature. But at this point of a Sesshin, it is this entrustment, entrusting the breath. Entrusting that the degree of breath that we have, as we let go, it's okay. And we let go of the next one, and let go of the next one. Breathe out, and breathe out. It is very important that we are not forcing this breath. We're not trying to force the breath to be long, but that we allow it to become slower and quieter. If we find that we're breathing, that's appropriate to really say, okay, slow down, stop, breathe slowly. But once we're in a Sesshin, once the breath is, we've begun to have some relationship with the breath, and we are able to be in the body to some degree, then let the breath just slow down, slow down, slow down. And sometimes in a Sesshin, the breath becomes so slow and so quiet, it feels as though we're hardly breathing at all. There's hardly any movement. Or as they talk about in some of the teachings, as though we're breathing with our skin, pores in our skin. To allow the breath to let go. And then breathe back in when it's time to breathe back in, and to let go, and to let go. It is in this way that sometimes the mind and body can become extremely still. We can't force it. We can't make it. All we can do is keep our attention completely focused on this breath, this body. And it is that complete focus when we see ourselves getting ready to clench, we see ourselves with a big knot, and we just say, well, let's not do that. Let go, let go. Or if we find we've clenched and got some big knot and we're not able to go, then the next breath, we try it again. We try it again. Let go, let go, let go. Let the breath breathe us. Sometimes in Sesshin, people reach a place where nothing is happening. There are different kinds of nothing happening. And there's a kind of boredom, which is really an aversive state, which is actually pretty uncomfortable. We're just bored with what's going on, and we say, fundamentally we're saying, I don't like this. I want to do something different. I want to run. I want to change. That's actually a fairly unfriendly place. But there are states where not much is going on. There's just breathing, maybe a little feeling, maybe a few thoughts. It's kind of a neutral place of just being. So it doesn't have that sense of aversion that what we call boredom does, nor does it have that sense of reward that we feel when we think we're gaining something. It's just neutral, still, quiet, not much going on. It's important to let the breath just continue breathing us at these times, to allow these states just to be, not to do anything with them, not to start thinking, oh, this means something. What it means the breath is calm and deep. Not to think, oh, this is going to lead to something. It will change one way or another. But to allow ourselves to sink into this without analysis, without a lot of debate. And, of course, And the mind comes in and stirs everything up again. We finally lost whatever bit of calm we had. We just start all over the next breath. Start all over the next breath. No failure. Just starting all over each time. And so we can actually breathe. The breath becomes so small and the whole body is so gently breathing that we forget even the idea of breath. There's a still place, we're still. It is not as though just encountering a still place in itself is some spectacular, important thing. But we're in a still place to look in a still place, to look through the still place. See what is true from a still place. There is also a time when the mind begins to calm down and the thoughts begin to subside, and we actually can feel thought almost arising, almost coming into being, almost like little bubbles that are almost there, or a little restless current that's almost, we can actually feel a thought coming up, and we can find we can actually choose. Oh, I'll think that, I won't think that. I'll let that come up, I won't let that come up. We actually have a little choice back there at this very low place, quiet place. And if we start fighting with them, then of course that's when we're thinking. So we just have to keep turning our attention, not taking the bait, and to feel the stillness that is at the core. It is also the case in the spiritual path, on the path to awakening, that there are times when we have no option. And there's no option. The mind is so wild, our circumstances are so difficult, our body hurts so much, that all of the great things that we've heard about, all the strategies don't work. At that point, the only real, genuine option is complete entrustment. There is a place in practice where all of our efforts have led to frustration. All of our efforts keep going around and around and around in a cycle of, oh yeah, here I am again. What's the point of that? Or we're in meditation in a very deep place and we can't go beyond it. We're just there. We just feel like we're stuck in a subtle way. Feel like there's something more, but the effort to go beyond it actually stops the going beyond it. All we can do in those times, all we need to do is entrust. Entrust means to give our trust to this great container, this luminous mind that we don't even know for sure is there. And yet we are alive. So because we are alive, this life springs in some way from some place. And we trust, we entrust that. We may call it the Buddha nature, the true nature, the source of all things. Whatever name we give it, it's just a name. To entrust. To entrust ourselves to what is given, to entrust ourselves to things as they are. One of the obstacles that we all encounter in practice, we all know so much. We know so much about ourselves and know so much about the world that are filled with so many ideas about things should be this way, things should be that way, and I am this way, and I am that way, and my nature is this, and my nature is that. We have so many things. But, which of course is important for a certain level of learning upaya, skillful means, and a certain level of functioning in the world. But the essential nature of things is mysterious. The essential nature of things is completely mysterious, dreamlike, incomprehensible. For a while we were, just was doing videos on cosmology and speakers coming in and talking about the cosmos and the infinite number of galaxies, infinite reaches of space. And then I would think, oh, our little brain, which is probably the size of a bed bug, or maybe a virus in comparison to this great scale, what can it really understand? The questions are so much larger than anything we understand. We sort of hope that somebody else understands how the heart works. If you ask experts, there are more questions than there are answers. This life is a mystery. And to practice letting go of all that we know about ourselves, and just be willing to experience this moment. As one of the koans says, not knowing is most intimate. Because as soon as we start knowing and cataloging and putting things and putting it in the box, we're up in our head thinking about it. Not knowing is most intimate. It means to breathe and to allow the breath to breathe us. This incomprehensible life, this mysterious life, we entrust, we let go. Then sound comes, and breath comes, and the koan is seeing the pure, vital light of this moment. Just as an aside, of course, this moment contains past, present, and future, so don't get some narrow, rigid idea what this moment is. All time is in this moment. We get to this place in our life where we have no choice but to entrust. We've tried everything many times over. This kind of entrustment is not giving up. In the sense of, oh well, that's pretty much hopeless too. Oh well, what's the point of that? It's not a sour grapes kind of giving up. This is a letting go into our life. Letting go, complete radical acceptance. The very art of our practice, the very act of our practice, the very life that we are living glows with the luminous nature of truth. It's mysterious. Our tiny little flea-like brain can't get around it. And yet, there is a koan in the Blue Cliff record, Ekugan Roku, which is entitled, the koan number 12, 3 pounds of flax. Introduction. And each koan in the big koan common collections has got different parts to it. It has this specific little koan, sometimes long, sometimes very short. It has often an introduction, sometimes a poem, sometimes a poem on the poem, sometimes a Teisho on the koan. So there's many different parts in each one of these. 3 pounds of flax. Introduction.